Hey there, thank you for joining me. I am an Army veteran, a retiree, and federal government employee, and this channel is for the transition from military to civilian. Today I'm talking about how to strengthen your resume after the military. If you're new here, please subscribe. Now let's get started. There are a few ways to get a job after the military. One way is who you know. If you know someone on the inside or a hiring manager, that could greatly help you. Another is through internship, either through the military or perhaps a university. Another way is to blindly apply over and over again at the multiple job search engine websites that we have available today on the internet. Regardless of which way you choose to go, you should always have a strong resume ready to go. Many times in your resume, you only have a few seconds to make a good impression. First, if you already have a resume, go ahead and take a good look at it. Does it do a good job at broadcasting your skills and abilities and your experience? Does it communicate the value that you bring to the company? Now, I found this basic resume online. We can already tell by looking at it that it is severely lacking in some details. We can clearly see here that we have some basic bullets under the skills and abilities. It doesn't show any positions that this person might have had or expand upon what he actually did. For example, it says leads by example, but it doesn't say lead who, what, and more importantly, how. This is not an ideal way to write or structure your resume. Let's take a look at another example. In this example, we do actually have duty positions listed. A lot of these bullets state what this individual was responsible for, but it doesn't necessarily indicate what the results were. For example, in El Paso, Texas, as an IT specialist, in the second bullet, it states regularly disseminated guidance, procedures, and policies. But what was the result of that guidance? Did it keep his organization within regulatory or compliance? Did it perhaps assist in passing an annual inspection? We need to capture the result of the action. In addition to that, I believe that we have to create success stories that go into your resume. We do this by using the acronym SOAR, S-O-A-R, which is situation, objective, action, and result. Let me give you an example. Before I do that, let me give you an example of a poorly worded bullet in a resume, like this. Anything that starts off with responsible for is probably not a good way to go. Now let's look at this bullet and construct it into a success story. Here we go. For example, we'll use the SOAR format and walk through this success story. S, being situation, is that the unit had a neglected and disorganized legal packet system. The objective was to fix this issue in order to increase efficiency. The action was creating the Excel spreadsheet and the PowerPoint slide deck to track and control each legal packet. And the result was the reduction in time in processing packets from 6 months to 2 months. Also, we can see here that he earned a commendation for his actions. That also falls under result. I deeply believe it's important to quantify when possible in order to paint that clear picture on what your achievements were. Notice it didn't just say reduce processing time, but it gave numbers. It stated reduce processing time from 6 months to 2 months. That helps articulate your result. I believe an effective approach is to include one success story in each one of your duty positions that follow the SOAR method. And this can be for your private sector resume and also your federal government resume. This is an example on how a SOAR success story would look inside of a resume. You can either have it in italics, you can have it formatted as a bullet, but just make sure you get it in there. Now that we have talked about including success stories in your resume, let's talk about the length of your resume. Now, in the private sector, depending on the years of experience you have, I believe it's appropriate to have 1 or 2 pages. In the federal government, I would say that would be 2 to 8 pages. But you do not want to make your resume too wordy, filled with too much fluff, and entirely too many buzzwords. We've all heard horror stories of human resource professionals reading through a 30-page resume, only to get tired and throw it in the trash can. Another mistake is to be too generalized or not customizing to match the job announcement. If you are applying for a program analyst position, it is not necessary to mention that you maxed out your physical fitness test or that you went on a 10-mile combat patrol in Afghanistan. And while both of those experiences are impressive, they're not directly related to the job announcement that you are applying for. You want to write and speak for the job announcement that you are applying for. And that means you might have to slightly alter the resume for each position that you're applying for. While one position might be heavily focused on analytical skills, another position might be heavily focused on communication skills. And you can be skilled in both areas, but you want to construct that resume so it addresses all of the key areas that they are looking for. Another area to consider are your references. Ensure that you're updating your reference section and that you properly vet these individuals out. You want to call the references and ensure that you still have a positive relationship so that you know when someone calls them, they're going to speak favorably on your behalf. A common mistake is not to have the references' contact information updated. Now, initially, I made a lot of mistakes when I was transitioning out of the Army and trying to construct a resume. I went through those transitional workshop classes, but they were a little hit and miss, and they didn't always have the right answers. However, by going through trial and error and following the suggestions I mentioned earlier, I believe you will position yourself for the best chance at success. Ultimately, I was able to apply for 2 positions, the first one being at the Department of Veteran Affairs, where I was able to get the job offer. I also was able to get a job offer from HUD as a program analyst. The ultimate goal here, I believe, is to attain meaningful employment after the military. Well, that wraps up how to strengthen your resume after the military. If you have any resume tips, questions, or comments, please leave those down below. If you like this video, please click like and consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.